Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and we're here to film another budget video. I feel like I've redone this intro so many times, but I have the budget stickers here with me that we'll be using today for the variable income spread along with the March budget. These stickers are from my Etsy shop and I'll be using the design 2, which is the butterflies, for the month of March. I did already set up my March monthly, choosing our key together along with setting up our little savings challenge, and we also set up our dashboard together as well. Those were in the previous video. For the budget planner, I am using an Erin Condren monthly planner. This is in the 7x9 design, and this is also in the Inspire design pattern. We will be setting up additional spreads for the month together, such as our debt payment spread along with our savings tracker. We'll be putting our variable income spread on the side, our March budget spread. We have our weekly check-in, our weekly balance, and then we will be setting up our sinking funds and transaction log. We are cashless budgeters. We don't use cash for the most part unless the place that we're going to is cash only. We mainly use our credit card for everything. And we are also budgeting for a family of 4 and 2 fur babies. We have 2 babies who are under 2. So let's go ahead and just get right into this budget with me. I feel like I've been mentioning this in the last couple of videos now at this point. I don't know if I've just been tired maybe, but I feel like I've just been struggling with filming videos. I feel like I repeat my words so often. But anyway, okay, so we have these butterflies, and for this month of March, since it is already kind of like in the middle of the month already, since I did kind of fall behind with this, I'm still trying to get back into being timely with things. Since it is a little bit later in the month, a couple of the spreads or a couple of the videos that I normally have, like the pre-balanced video along with the savings tracker video, I believe I'm going to skip on filming those videos for this month. I will be doing my April budget with me soon, so for that month I'll be setting up every single video that I normally do in previous months. But I figured since it's just a bit late, I want to try to catch up on videos, so I decided to just not film those two as usually. But I will briefly talk about those as we do our budgets together. For our budget for March, if you guys are familiar with my budget videos, we usually do set up a budget per quarter together, so it will basically be mimicking what we had for February. So we'll just go ahead and talk about those numbers. I do still have to film the quarter 1 budget along with quarter 2. I feel like my brain's all over the place and I'm babbling in this video. But anyway, so for income, we have our first section, which is general and then extra. I feel like we've never used extra, but it is here in case we have a month where we have to incorporate additional funds. But for the most part, it is just our general income, which is normally both mine and my husband's income. We're both hourly workers. So the income that we have, I usually put in our variables spread together that we'll set up together next. And then I'm going to put this thin washi down. Alright, I absolutely love this design for March. I really wanted to use the first one as well, design 1, but I think for this month I'm just going to be a little cohesive and just use the same design the whole entire month. But for my kids, you guys might know I have 2 variable and 2 fixed sections, since I do like to separate out all of our different categories in my monthly view. You definitely don't have to do it the same way that I do. I believe in my new releases video I did talk about other ways to set up the spread as well. But for me, I like to have my cash envelopes here, or our electronic cash envelopes. Since we are cashless budgeters, everything is electronic. So for our electronic cash envelope categories, we have what we always have, which is the first one is eating out. And this one, the budget is $300 as usually. Starting next quarter, we're going to decrease this. Eating out is just way too expensive now. So is groceries, but we're going to increase our groceries fund and decrease our eating out, since we've been really trying not to eat out so often. But groceries is set to $400 every single month. In gas, we have at $150. Then we have allowance. Allowance we have at $75 per month. And then our babies category is $75 per month as well. These amounts used to be pretty okay for us, but I feel like as time goes on, it's been harder and harder to keep up with this budget that we have for ourselves. So I'm thinking after next quarter, maybe in the middle of the year, we might end up increasing it. We're gonna try to stick to this budget for one more quarter. So let's just see how we do. I'm gonna go ahead and lay down the closing strip for these, but the total for all of these combined for our electronic cash envelope categories is going to be a total of $1,000, adding them all up. And it's been this number for so long, it's going to be very weird for me to change it from what it is now. Now for our fixed amounts, our first one, as always, is going to be our sinking funds. For this section, for our fixed expenses, I like to include the categories that we have funds dedicated to, such as sinking funds. We'll be putting $800 towards our sinking funds categories. Then we have our Ally savings accounts. We'll be saving $100. For this year, we're just trying to focus on paying more so on debt, since last year we were focusing on saving for our 3-month emergency fund. We actually do need to reevaluate saving for our emergency fund since our expenses did increase. Our emergency fund goal has increased as well, but we'll probably talk about that later in the year since we are just trying to get the hang of things for right now with our new baby. For this section, this is usually all I really have in here, but in the future, if we do have other savings categories for our kids or maybe investments or something, I'll probably put those over here as well. But this is what we have for now. And then let me also put down this closing amount. Let's see. So the total over here for this section of fixed expenses is going to be $900. And then we only have one thin washi on this sheet, so I'm going to go and steal another one from the variable income sheets. And then on the section below, this is where we put all of our bills. So all of our bills go down here, and we do have quite the bit of bills, but I do like to have all of our bills below since I like to total all of this up. And it's essentially, for me, it's kind of like if I need to adjust funds somewhere, if we're running short or something's wrong, then these are the categories that we can kind of like adjust from. But of course down here for bills, we can't really decide to pay less for bills. So I like to have all of the bills below, so I know for the month, no matter what, we have to have enough for said bills below. And then I realized I never put in our estimated income for the month of March. For last year, towards the end of the quarter, I tried to decrease how much we were going to use for our income. Since we are zero-based budgeters, whatever we set for ourselves is what we have spread out throughout our budgets. And I decreased it to $5,000 last quarter, and I realized that it's not enough. So we're going to be going back to $5,200 per month for our income. So we'll have $5,200. And I realized that was very crooked. Okay, I just wanted to move it over just a little bit because it was bothering me a bit. Anyway, so talking about our bills below, let's start with our first one. So I was looking at the wrong numbers, and I had to white out all the numbers that I had for our bills because I was looking at the wrong thing. So I do apologize for all of the white out here. This is kind of what happens when I don't budget on camera for a while. I feel like it takes me a minute to collect all of my thoughts. But okay, so going back to our bills. For our variable bills, the first that we have over here is for our mortgage. And our mortgage is over here still because the numbers fluctuated just a bit, so I wasn't sure like if it was going to change again. So we'll talk about this in our weekly check-ins, what the actual is. But then we have our utilities for gas. Utilities gas for this month, we're estimating at $150. Then for our utilities electric, we're estimating at $100. Next we have our mobile. we are estimating at $180 for the month. Our mobile bill has a tendency of changing by a couple of cents, which is kind of strange. I'm not sure why it does that still to this day, but we do keep track of all of our bills in the back of our planner. So it fluctuates by a couple of cents or dollars depending on the month. But this is also where we get our estimates, or how we estimate for our utilities bills as well. For gas, we kind of look at previous years for 2023, 2022, 2021 for how much our gas was depending on the quarter. Like for example, gas has a tendency of being lower during the summer months, while it's more so at the beginning of the years. For electric, it increases a lot towards the end of the year, while at the beginning of the year it's usually a bit lower. So that's kind of like an idea of how we keep track of our bills and how we track our patterns. I did set this spread up with you guys too in our 2023 budget planner videos. We did set up a few different spreads, and I still have more to set up since I was behind in preparation for a baby. Moving on to the next bill in our budget, we have our student loans. So student loan A, which is mine, we have an estimate of $175. Then for student loan D, we have an estimate of $125. And the reason why I have them over here versus in our fixed, since now we do have fixed amount for these, is because as we pay down student loans, the amount that we owe per month changes. So I just had them over here out of habit, but I'll probably move them back over to our fixed amounts at some point. I'm not sure when. The next bill that we have is for our internet. This again was changing at one point, but we do finally have a fixed amount. So starting next month, I'm going to move this back over to our fixed side. Last but not least, we have our holder category. And if you guys know, then you guys know the reason why I have a holder in here is just to make the total amount, adding up all of our variable and fixed bills to a whole number, or to an even number, or a number that's easy to remember. And you guys will see that number at the end once we add up all of our variable and fixed bills together. But for now, let's just add up all of our variable bills. All of our variable bills estimate added up together is going to be a total of $3,178.03. So $3,178.03 so far is our total for our variable bills. So I'll just lay that right here. Now moving on to our fixed bills, which is mostly subscriptions for the most part right now. But we have Netflix. Netflix is $12.71. Then we have Spotify. Spotify amount is $11.65. But we have HOA, which is $80.66. And then HBO, which is $16.95. We're actually just going to keep HBO Max because we do use it for movies. We just have them playing in the background. I feel like more so now than ever. So we're just going to be keeping this for now. Now adding up all of the total for our fixed bills. These are fixed because they don't change. These are just the set amounts for the bills for this month or every month in general. Adding all of these up together is going to be a total of $121.97. And that is a total for all of our fixed bills. So these are all of our bills, and that is definitely quite the bit of bills that we have every single month. I'm going to draw the lines real quick and I'll be right back. Alright, so all the lines are now down for this spread, but I did want to, of course, add up the totals for all of our bills. I have a little calculator icon. I'm just going to just pop that right here, and we're going to write the estimate. The estimate for all of our bills, which is going to be the variable and fixed added together, which is at $3178.03 added up with that $121.97, equals a total of $3,300 total that we'll need for the month of March to pay for all of our bills. So no matter what, essentially out of our income, we need to make sure that $3,300 is saved aside for all of our bills, and if something happens, the rest of those funds can be adjusted to pay for. But no matter what, $3,300 is what we need to pay for all of our bills for the month. And I'm gonna write an actual, so we can put the actual amounts after we get the totals by the end of the month. But that is what this is looking like for the most part. I do apologize if I'm slurring a lot or if I'm stuttering a lot. I am so tired, guys. A newborn, I definitely forgot how it's like to have a newborn, and especially this time around having our 18-month-old. It has been something. It's been something for sure. Okay, so now that we have our March budget for the most part, this is what it's looking like. We're going to flip over to do our variable spread. I do have one more icon here, but I usually save this for our savings spread. So I'm going to just put that aside. But for our variable income, this spread I use to house all of our income for the most part, especially since we are hourly paid. Our income can be adjusted or changed depending on how often we work or if we have like overtime or something. And not even that, but we do incorporate other things, like maybe for the month of February, for example, we did incorporate our cash rewards because we did redeem our cash rewards. And then for January, I received my first YouTube paycheck. So I did talk about this in our budget update video, but our first YouTube paycheck was from last year, July up into December. So that's kind of what we use the spread for. For this month, however, since we have our income slightly different from previous months, for example, like I mentioned in a previous video, I am actually going to just set this up and then keep it private for the most part because the numbers are so all over the place and I don't share our full income for the most part. I just give you guys a primary estimate for mine and then estimate for my husband's essentially. So this is the variable income spread. And for this month, I will only be having 2 paychecks, which is paycheck, I'll just call them paycheck number 1 and paycheck number 2. And then for our short-term disabilities, we still have the remaining 4 checks that will come through. Since I am on maternity leave, my company's benefits is I'm going to be receiving a paycheck per week for whatever residual amount of my paycheck that my company won't be paying for. So that's kind of how it's broken up because my company is only paying a certain percentage of my pay while short-term disability will be paying the remaining. So that's kind of what this is going to be looking like. I don't have my husband's income in here because he's currently on unpaid leave. His company does not give him any paid leave. And we decided that it's just, since we do have some money saved up from our January extra paycheck, and we did have an extra paycheck in the month of December, we decided to just have him be with us, spend this time with us, enjoy his newborn baby, enjoy our 18-month-old. And we feel like since we're able to and we have the funds for it, there's just no price for him to go back to work if we can just take these few weeks for him to enjoy our new baby. So that's kind of our decision. It might not be the smartest decision because, of course, it financially puts us in a little shortage for the month of March, but it is what it is. As some of you guys might know, how we do our variable income spread is whatever income that comes in for that current month is our budget for the following month, which means all of the funds that came in for the month of January is going to be for February, and then all the funds that came in for February will be for March, so on and so forth. The reason why we do that is because it's just a lot easier for us to budget once a month and to have all the funds readily available at the beginning of the month. So for example, for March, let's say all of our bills, we used to pay them at the beginning of the month. We've kind of been paying them in the middle of the month now. But for example, our mortgage, $23.17, we don't have one paycheck that'll be able to cover this. It's just nice to have, once the month starts, we transfer that $5,200 from the previous month, and then we can just pay all of our bills. All of the money is in here. All of the funds are in here. We don't really have to worry about calculating and timing a paycheck with a bill. But yes, I will have videos linked below talking about our bank accounts and how we have all of our bank accounts set up. I have talked about these in the past quite often as well. I do have to rebalance these accounts with you guys for a weekly check-in. I definitely feel like I'm rambling quite a bit in this video because I just haven't filmed in so long. I feel extremely talkative. I am going to put 4 of these little dots down because I do like to use these for kind of like monthly notations. I only use 4 here because the rest of them I do use for a savings tracker spread. But let me show you guys an example of what we use this for. So for last month, for example, we did write that we owed taxes. We wrote that we started getting maternity leave. We also wrote that we took $300 from our short-term savings to pay for one of our student loans. But that's kind of what this is essentially for. But that is going to be the variable income spread, and that is what both spreads are looking like. And I believe that's actually going to be it for this video. The next video that will be going up will be for our sinking fund spread that we'll be setting up as well. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much as always for watching and tuning in. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye.